Today on Divorce Court. A May-December romance is one in which the parties have a huge age gap. Relationships are hard enough, but can you imagine being in a relationship with someone who's the same age as your mother or adult child? Today, we're going to meet Juliette and Ryan. They're ending their marriage because they couldn't bridge the generation gap. Let's go see what went wrong.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Juliette Musgrave and Ryan Musgrave. The two of you have been married for 4 years, and you do not want to be married anymore. Mrs. Musgrave, you are looking for a dollar amount associated with this, and we'll talk about that later. But why don't you tell me how we got here to divorce court today?
Well, my husband and I, like you mentioned, have been married for 4 years. During those 4 years, we have drifted apart so far to the point that I don't know who he is anymore. We have nothing in common.
Nothing in common.
And we argue constantly.
Do you think any of that has to do with the 21-year age difference? Because you are 21 years older than him.
20.
20 years old. Get it right. That's all right.
Give me that 1 year.
Yeah. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Definitely.
Okay. Give me some examples of some of the things that have gone wrong.
When we first met, we met as friends, and then it grew into a relationship quickly. We were married within 8 months of meeting each other, and we didn't really know each other. We had to figure things out during that first, 6 months, and found out a lot that I didn't know, a lot I didn't like. Ryan's very secretive with a lot of things that I found.
Tell me some stories, some things that he's done.
For example, his cell phone, he's very guarded with his cell phone. It's always been locked, never have access to it. And I thought it was strange, but I kind of dismissed it. And one day he left it unlocked, and I was curious, and I looked, and I found messages on an app that he had to another girl, to another woman, and very sexually explicit. And I asked him about it, and he said that there were old messages from a long time ago, but that didn't make sense to me.
Mr. Musgrave, did you have sexually explicit messages between you and another woman on your phone?
No, not at all.
So she just made that up?
Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about.
No idea what she's talking about at all?
No.
How about the person in your neighborhood that was much older?
Okay.
You want to tell me about that, Mr. Musgrave?
No, not that. The whole messages thing.
Okay.
It was when we first got together. We weren't even married yet. I mean, we just got together. I mean, within, I don't know, a month
so
or
you
two?
do remember
I remember it now, yeah.
Oh,
It was about a
okay.
month, but we weren't even together like that. And yeah, I mean, before I met her, I was on a site. So
doing whatever because you were
yeah,
single.
Exactly. But when we were married like that, that never happened. I was very faithful up until this other woman in Texas.
So how did you end up spending the night in jail?
Ryan and I had an argument that got really heated, and police ended up being called, and I was taken to jail. Ryan accused me of being unfaithful to him, and that's what started the argument. And I was trying to be really mellow with it and not have it escalate, but he gets angry and it escalates really quick. So it's what he thinks is what's the important part.
What's your version of that event?
That day I was very, very down, depressed. I wasn't heated. I wasn't getting mad or anything like that. She wanted me out of the house and I wasn't gonna get out of the house. So things escalated like she said, and the cops were called and she was taken.
Who called the police?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And she was taken down? And then when she came home, she had a restraining order on her.
She didn't get to come home. I moved another woman into the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
A day and a half later, he moved somebody else into my home and locked me out of it. My belongings, nothing. I wasn't able to take anything.
Was she charged?
No.
No, I didn't file. I did not. No.
Did you use it as a move to get her out of the house so you could get another woman in the house?
No. It just happened when she was out. I didn't do it purposely to get the woman to come in at all.
But you were seeing that woman already?
No, not like that at all. It was when she went in. I mean, me and this other woman, I think she's maybe 10 or something years older than Juliette. So,
yeah, so that's 30 years.
She's an older woman.
Yeah.
So
it just happened really fast.
How did she get to move in? It was like, hey, I got an empty room, come on.
Basically, yeah.
I said that sarcastically and I got stuck.
But at that point,
I have something
At
to
that
add.
point, our
What you said.
relationship was over, though. I mean, I was down and depressed that day that the cops were called because I did everything I felt like I could for the relationship to try to get it to go better. But all in all, it wasn't. And when I met this woman, I found happiness again. I knew what happiness was.
You met her the same day that she went to jail, or you
Yes.
already knew her?
I already knew her. She lived in the neighborhood. I mean, I already knew her, but it wasn't just like the day that she left. I
Your
mean,
Honor, can I
it
add
was
something?
more than a day and a half.
More than a day and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I-
Mr. Musgrave, if you take this long finding something that's somewhere close to the truth, this entire proceeding, we'll never get anywhere. You keep walking around and around trying to not look as bad as the things that you've done, and it's exhausting me. Mrs. Musgrave, what do you have to say?
Well, he mentions that he was at the point where our relationship was over. I had no clue that it was over. I thought we had just gotten in an argument, and when I came home, we would work through the argument.
Right.
We would still be married. I had no clue that he was seeing another person. When I finally did speak with him months later, he told me that he found his soulmate, that she was really somebody who he could relate to, and blindsided me. I
What
wasn't
about
ready
you
for that at
kissing
all.
another guy, though?
I was not ready for that.
Well, tell me what you say. She was kissing on another guy.
Yeah, like a family friend picked us up, I believe, and I went to go walk into the house, and I just happened to turn around, and I see her and the family friend just casually kiss. Didn't seem casual. It seemed like they've done it before. It seemed like I've never seen them kiss anybody else before, like that. A friend leaving each other. He never kissed anybody, but they kissed that day in the front. She denies it and says, "I'm tripping. I don't know what I see. I'm a delusion." Everything like.
What
it's
is your
all in my
version of
head.
that event?
We were walking
I didn't know.
the gentleman out, and you knew how you innocently give somebody a hug and you go to give him a kiss on the cheek. It was innocent. We actually met,
Yeah, right. Like weird.
and we kind
it
of
was
looked at
just
each
like,
other.
okay,
We
yeah.
were
You guys
both
kissed
amazed
before
by
you
it,
hugged.
like embarrassed, and that was it. That's what he saw.
They kissed before they even hugged.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let me move forward. Talk a little bit about the age difference and how that factored in to the failure of this marriage.
We were living in Arizona, and he was working at a Mexican restaurant. He ended up getting fired because he was inappropriately using a burrito in a sexually content way, and somebody saw him do it, and he got fired.
Mr. Musgrave, were you sexually inappropriate with a burrito? You say you believe that the age played a factor in the ending of the marriage. Why do you believe that?
We grew up in different eras.
Right.
Everything from work ethic to hobbies, what our likes and dislikes in music, how we feel we should treat other people. I mean, we were just raised differently. I've always been brought up to believe that hard work is what you need to do. You get up, you're punctual, you show up every day, you listen to your boss, and you respect them. One example is when I met Ryan, he didn't have a job. Or if he did, he didn't last very long at that job. We were living in Arizona, and he was working at a Mexican restaurant. And shortly after getting hired, he ended up getting fired because he was inappropriately using one of the food, a burrito, in a sexually content way. And somebody saw him do it, and he got fired.
Mr. Musgrave, were you sexually inappropriate with a burrito?
Yes, it was.
Do you feel a little ludicrous about that? I mean, because it's a ludicrous thing to do.
No.
No,
No, not at all.
you just felt it was unfortunate that you got caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that doesn't make any sense. You don't mess with your dollar. You don't go do silly things at work. You know what I mean?
You're right, and
You don't
I
get
felt
fired
bad
when
about
somebody's-
losing that job, so I'm like 2 days later I had another job. I mean, I'm not sitting there not working or anything. I mean, I went to school, I had 2 jobs. I mean, I was really trying to put my foot forward. I don't know why you
Was he
say
going
that.
to school and had 2 jobs?
At the time when I helped him get this job in Texas, he was supposedly looking for a job and never found one. So he ended up getting this job. He worked at it. He was really good at it. But he ended up getting a little bit too full of himself when he was doing his job. And he thought he was untouchable. His boss confronted him about him doing maybe a subpar job, and he began to argue with his boss and began to be belligerent to him. So he got fired from that one. Didn't think of the repercussions, how it was going to, affect the family.
Mr. Musgrave, what do you have to say about that incident?
I got upset and I disagreed with the owner. I got upset with him, and I'm going to stand my ground, and he basically let me go because I stood my ground. I should have been paid a lot more than what he wanted to pay me, so I'm not going to step back from what he owes me. So.
Instead of just taking it as
Mr.
constructive
Musgrave, we've been
criticism.
talking about you a lot, so now I want to turn the tables a little bit. Wilma, I want to go to you and find out what you think is the major component or the major problem that you have that caused this marriage to come to an end.
Juliette became my mother than my wife. Like, tell me what clothes I would wear. She would not allow me to put the clothes I wanted on to go out because she didn't think it looked good with her wardrobe.
Isn't it too much kind of tell a grown man what to wear? Do you think a 20-plus year age difference is too much for a relationship to work? Tell us what you think at facebook.com/Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. So, Mr. Musgrave, what do you see as the major problem in this marriage?
Juliette became my mother than my wife. I mean, she would nag at me, put me down, belittle me, tell me things to do like a mom would. And I mean, they weren't all bad, but I mean, I started feeling like she was my mother, not my wife. I feel like age wasn't a big thing. I really, until like maybe a year after being together, then I started feeling like age was a problem.
Was a problem,
I looked at us as equals for the longest time.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect the woman, everything like that.
But, Your Honor,
Give me a couple of examples of her nagging and being more like a mother than a wife.
Like, tell me what clothes I would wear. She would not allow me to put the clothes I wanted on to go out because she didn't think it looked good with her wardrobe. Just recently, she said, no, you're not gonna look good in that, you shouldn't wear it. And I wanna look good and feel comfortable and be sure of myself what I'm wearing. And she doesn't allow that. I mean,
that's not true.
Isn't it too much kind of tell a grown man what to wear?
If he wants to be looked at
What
as
about
an
you
adult,
throwing
he
them
has
away,
to look
though?
like an adult, not like a skater kid that just came in from the street.
Did you notice his wardrobe when you were dating him?
yeah, why'd
Yes,
you marry
but
me in the first place then?
I didn't marry your clothes, I married you.
Exactly, so why
The
is the
clothes
clothes
could be,
problem?
See,
updated.
you fall into the trap of I've got the basics of what I want, and then I'm gonna pick at him until he becomes the man I really want. And you can't do that to people. He was who he was. If he was dressing like a skater, that's where his head was. That's where his maturity level was. That's who he was. You can't get him and then get mad because you get the guy you picked.
You knew the age difference.
You know what I mean? He's a younger guy. He's not going to have the same mentality that you have, and you can't change him. You can't age him 20 years and make him behave like you want him to behave. That's not right.
No, I didn't try and change the way he behaved. Just, I didn't want to be embarrassed
Just
of what
my
he was
wardrobe,
wearing
right?
if I was going to be with him.
Yeah, but I can tell by your tone. It's very condescending.
I didn't mean it to be that way to him.
I don't think you meant it to be that way, but I think that's what he heard, which is part of the reason why we're here. Did you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, things went very far south, and part of that was a guy that was a whole lot younger than you and
But,
didn't
Your Honor,
appreciate.
I didn't try and be his mother because I just tried and to guide him in the right way. There was an age difference, and
Why not?
I
help
was
me, not
aware of
guide
that,
me?
and I didn't want to come off being the mother.
What form did this guidance take? What kind of things did you guide him in?
Well, him being so much younger didn't have the experience of going through some of the life lessons that I have already lived through. So I would give him my examples, and this is how I dealt with it. And he would take it as, this is how you should do it. And that was not the case.
Not at first. Not at first. I actually took her guidance in and actually went with some of it. But when I would not take her guidance, she'd become angry. She would like mess up the whole afternoon or evening because I didn't follow what she wanted.
Well, sitting at home is not my idea
That's
of
what I
being
wanted to
productive.
do.
I mean,
I was
we
off
have a
work, not
household that we
working.
have to pay for, and we have a future that I thought we were trying to work towards together. And he doesn't do it.
He's playing a game.
Exactly.
Okay, he was playing the game. I want to talk about whether or not you respected one another's property and if that too had something to do with the end of your marriage. What is fair to expect your partner to change after you marry? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. In the beginning, you were buying him a lot of stuff. Then you said once you stopped, he got angry. Could you very briefly tell me what
Sure.
that was about?
I stopped buying him things because I felt he was already given up on the marriage. I told him, I'm not going to provide you with things if you're not going to pitch in together to make this marriage work. So I told him, if you quit the company, then you end up, you don't get the company benefits. So why am I going to buy you things?
Right. Did that make him angry?
Yes. He says, you should still buy me things that, I want to have, like nice clothes, expensive cell phones, things like that. He felt entitled to it.
Did you ever buy me a cell phone?
Mr. Musgrave, did you feel entitled to a whole lot of stuff that she was buying you?
If I asked her for these things, then yeah, I wanted them and I should have got them. I feel like at that time, because everything I've done for this woman, I feel like I've done a lot, and yes, I do deserve it. But at the point where she's probably talking about, no. I quit the company. I'm gladly going to quit the company.
Yeah.
I really don't care about that.
Okay,
It's not,
I got it. I got it. You want $283 from him. What for?
In 2015, I left Texas, left him. I knew the marriage was not going to work anymore, and so I came back to Fresno. And shortly thereafter, he calls me 3 months later, tells me the relationship he was in at the time wasn't going to work. Can I pay for him to come back home?
I was supposed to leave with her that night, though, that she also left.
So I did. I
Things
left.
transpired.
When I was here, I was working at a job. I was getting up in the morning to get in my car to go to work out of town, and I back up, and all 4 of my tires get popped by somebody who had put pieces of wood with nails in them, and so when you back up, all of them pop.
Mr. Musgrave, was that you?
Yeah.
And why did you do that?
If I would have never came out, I came out and told her because I felt bad about it. I felt guilty. I felt
Not
like,
bad enough to pay it.
no, I'm not going to pay it. I mean, everything that I've lost in this marriage, I'm okay with it.
Emotional. I've lost a lot of money.
You know what, people?
Your Honor, I have receipts here
Okay, thank
for the
you.
cost. I have an estimate.
Mr.
of the
Musgrave,
bill.
you don't think you should pay it because of all the things that you did in this relationship?
No, I mean, it was my car too at the time. I recently had signed over the title to her, but at the time it was my car. I mean, I was getting no use of the car at all. She was like taking it for whatever she wanted, not letting me use it.
I got it. This is what happened. You got a guy who wanted a bit of a sugar mama, and you closed your eyes to it. And you didn't say, why does this guy, 20 years younger, want to get in this relationship with me? You didn't take a good look at it because it was 8 months and you fell into it. And whatever things that you saw were wrong, you said, well, once I get him, I'm going to tuck him up, going to get him together, going to get him right, going to get him grown, and you got mad when you couldn't get it done.
No, I thought.
So, no, I think so. I think he's half a jerk. I think if you paid more attention, you would have seen that he's half a jerk.
Oh, I know I would have.
And, that's on you for not paying attention.
True.
Mr. Musgrave, you could be a better guy. I think you use women. I don't know if you're doing it now, but I think you used her, and I deserve this and I deserve that. You don't deserve nothing. Everybody gets into marriage and works and do what you got to do. And I'm going to tell you, when you do damage to somebody's property maliciously, you pay for it.
Exactly.
$283 in favor of Mrs. Musgrave. It is so ordered.
In the future, I will take more care to date somebody who I have more in common with.
I would have been with Juliette regardless of receiving gifts or anything like that because it was a relationship and I was in it for the long haul, the good or the bad. The extra stuff just came from her when she wanted to get it for me. So yeah, I'd still be with her.
I feel like I lost my best friend. It's sad.